Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So I tried to record this video yesterday, but ran into some technology issues. And, well, hopefully they're solved by now. So, anyway, I'm going to give it a shot. Now, this is a time to move forward. The Supreme Court has refused to hear the cases regarding election fraud or to void the results in 4 states. If Trump or his allies attempt to have more challenges heard, the result will be the same. The reason for this is clear. SCOTUS does not do discovery of evidence. That means that no new evidence can be presented which was not introduced in a lower court. That's not how SCOTUS works. They determine if another court, a lower court, made a legally and constitutionally valid decision. If new evidence were going to be offered, then the case would be returned to a lower court. I understand that Trump supporters are angry and disappointed at this decision, especially considering several members of the court were Trump appointees, whom they had hoped would support their challenges. The fact is, the evidence, the legality, just wasn't there. If Trump supporters stepped back from their emotional reactions and viewed this more objectively, they would be better able to accept this. The fact is, Trump supporters have not lost anything substantial, only a figurehead, and Trump will not be stepping out of the public view. He has made that much clear. But they do need to stop all the apoplectic, garment-rendering wailing and take another look at Biden's policies because they are virtually identical to Trump's. All the whining and all of this stuff, you know who you sound like? You sound like pink pussy hatters. You really do. You sound exactly the same. Remember the not my president thing? Well, what are you doing now? You sound like Russia gators. Many Trump supporters are in the exact same boat as Biden supporters and the rest of us. You know, many are in line for food banks, many in fear of eviction. At least some have seen small businesses fail this year or have been laid off from small or large businesses, waiting anxiously for government stimulus checks which may or may not arrive. If they do arrive, it will not be for weeks. They have extended themselves to the limits of their credit and see no way they will be able to afford even the minimum payments on their credit cards or accounts. I have to say, this is a time for humility. One cannot bemoan others who receive handouts while receiving assistance from food banks and waiting on government assistance. It is a time to look around and feel a connection to all the others in the same situation. I'm going to add something to this, that if you have a business which has gotten government tax breaks, government subsidies, government contracts, you are dependent on the government. So, yeah, if you're going to complain about people getting government assistance, well, look in the mirror. But you need to look around right now, where you're at, and feel a connection to all the other people in the same situation. If you are not in that situation, then it is by luck and luck alone. Millions of others were not in this situation 1 year ago. They thought they had made good life choices. Many of them looked down on others already in the position that you are in now. You may have done this, and now there are other people looking down on you. Get a job, get an education. You made bad life choices. How does that feel? Anyway, many of the people that are not in the position of waiting for food banks or government checks are only one missed paycheck away from a food bank. Many more have received or are waiting fearfully for pink slips. I've made it clear too many times that the economy was not doing well in 2019. Millions who were laid off or lost businesses in 2019 already know this. If the economy had been doing well, we would not have seen so many corporate bankruptcies through the year, so many retail closures. The Fed would not have been bailing out the repo market before the end of the year. Last year, farmers would not have been bailed out, and millions would not have permanently lost their jobs in the very first 1 to 2 months of the pandemic. You know how financial advisors tell you to keep enough money aside to survive for 6 months in the event of an emergency? Why do you think that should not apply to businesses, especially corporations? It should apply, including the cost of paying wages. That's just common sense. But it doesn't apply to them. Instead, they get bailed out. You don't. All right, back to policies. Biden has made it clear that he will not ban fracking. Keep in mind that the Obama-Biden administration issued more drilling and fracking permits than all previous administrations combined. It was the Obama-Biden administration that was trying to sell fracking technology to basically every other country on earth. Biden had already said he wanted the defense budget increased, which he got. He opposes universal health care, which many Trump supporters actually support, but would never have gotten under Trump, who also opposed it. Yes, I am right there with you when you oppose reinstating the ACA individual mandate. The ACA is nothing but a corporate welfare program and an illegal tax. You want to oppose it? Good. Take the individual mandate to court by itself and have it declared unconstitutional. We on the actual left will be at your side every step of the way on that one. Biden has every intention of not only maintaining aggressive postures against Russia and China, but most likely will intensify those aggressions. Biden is just as corporate friendly as Trump, if not more so. Trump talked about, or was amenable to, cutting Social Security. Biden has tried cutting Social Security for 50 years. Now he says he will increase Social Security payments. Good thing if he does it, but don't hold your breath. Taxes? He says he will increase taxes on the wealthy. Again, Don't hold your breath, and don't cry about shit that doesn't affect you personally. If you're not a billionaire, you have nothing to worry about if taxes on the wealthy are increased. They got a tax decrease, and what happened? They laid millions of people off. So forget about your trickle-down theory. You're in line for a food bank, waiting on a government stimulus check, and look at the stock market. How's that trickling down to you? And by the way, if you're a billionaire, even if they increase your taxes, you have nothing to worry about, ever. Many Trump supporters vocalize fear of Russia or China taking over the U.S. and imposing Marxism. Really? That will not happen. And even if it did, what it would mean would be that you would not be evicted, you would not go hungry, and you would have universal health care. Tens of millions of people in Russia and China have been lifted above the poverty line in the past decade, while the U.S. has seen the numbers below the poverty line expand exponentially in the same time frame. The fact is, neither Russia or China are actually Marxist anyway. They're beating us at capitalism. All right, you know who is not having mental health crises on a massive scale and exploding suicide rates? Russia and China. Yes, for real. Know who has lower violent crime rates and far fewer opiate overdoses? Russia and China. Yes, for real. None of this is saying that we should let China or Russia take over our country or that we should immediately become a Marxist nation. Like I said, neither Russia or China are actually Marxist. If you knew about Marxism, you would understand this. China is, beating our ass at capitalism. How does that equate to Marxism? What I am saying is to stop being terrified of words because some fanatics keep repeating them over and over. I'm saying that these countries definitely have lessons which we can learn from. I mean, unless you enjoy an ever-increasing military budget, high overdose rates, suicides, business collapse, unemployment, the biggest prison population in world history, which you pay for, lack of medical care, increasing bankruptcies and eviction rates, crippling debt, poor education, high crime rates, working multiple part-time jobs with no sick time or health insurance, all while watching the stock market explode because you are paying for corporate profits and subsidies and tax breaks. You like all that stuff? Then you really need therapy. All right? Biden does say he will invest in green energy projects, which actually does create jobs. In a nation which has seen the collapse of the oil, gas, and coal industries in under 1 year, something has to take the place of the jobs lost in those industries. Demand for fossil fuels is declining globally, while all oil and gas producing countries are competing for the slowly dwindling market, well, those jobs in fossil fuels in this country are not coming back, ever. The biggest problem with Biden is that he is not investing enough in green energy to keep pace with the number of jobs that have been lost. What all of this means is that while motives may differ slightly, the reality on the ground remains the same for all of us. Now is the time for the far right and the far left to hash out our differences and coordinate our efforts. Both conservatives and progressives oppose Biden on many points. In many cases, they are the exact same points of contention. This country is in crisis and is doomed to be a truly failed state in the very near future if we do not act together in a hurry, in unity. Between progressives and conservatives, we vastly outnumber the centrist neoconservatives, neoliberals, same thing, that have been decimating our economy and our society for far too long. All right, so we can set aside some of our differences and opinions on some issues for the time being long enough to address the very urgent conditions threatening our literal existence right this moment. If we do this in unity, reaching across ideological lines and shooting a middle finger at the divisive media and so-called leaders, inflaming emotional tensions for their own power, then we can take back our power. Once we reach consensus on a number of issues and actually accomplish goals together, we will open the doors to civil dialogue to solve more issues together, in a snowball effect, truly defying those on high trying to literally destroy this nation. Want to make America truly great for the first time ever? This is how we do it. Of course, this does mean calming down the emotional tantrums on both sides. On an individual level, stop looking for things to hate about your own neighbors and turning off the corporate media that profits from burning this country to ashes. Your guns are not going to help you. If the economy goes, if the dollar collapses, that gun is not going to help you. You're still going to be without a job, unable to buy anything. Manufacturing comes to a halt. You know, the streets become a war zone. Your gun will help you to survive, but define survival. Is that all you want, just to survive? Then go back, move back in the woods, or move to a country that's at war. If that's what you really want, just go. Just get out. Obviously, you don't love this country. You hate this country. You want to live in Mad Max. Signs and screaming at each other make things worse. Labels get you nowhere. Names, Republican, Democrat, Trump, Biden, whatever, they mean nothing except for signifying which cult you adhere to. This is our chance, and it is our time to make that choice. And it is a choice. Right now, while we have a chance of pulling back from the edge of the abyss before it's too late. Peace, prosperity, security, and unity do not just happen. They take work, hard work. They take bravery, not threats. Now let me address the drama queens before you even start. No, I am not suggesting unifying with anyone that is engaging in or proposing, advocating violence. No. If you ever watched any of my videos, you know how I feel about violence. Violence does no good at all. Pointing fingers does no good at all. Holding on to grudges, the past, does no good at all. We have to move forward, not backward. You know, if we want to survive as a country, we have to move forward. We have to get past all of the division, all of the hate, all of the name calling, all of the blame. Pick up from right here and move forward. All right? That is it for this video. Please share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel. And I will see you in the next one.